The produced part belongs to what has already been produced and the unproduced part to what is unproduced. There is nothing in the process of production with parts other than these existent by way of its own entity. If the produced and the unproduced are both considered to be that which is presently being produced, both past and future are also in the process of being produced. Alternatively, it follows that all three times are presently being produced, since all produced and unproduced things are in the process of production. If that which is presently being produced exists by way of its entity, is it considered to have its own nature or not? Both are unacceptable. It follows that it could not be in the process of production. It follows that anything which has the nature of presently being produced does not have the nature of being in the process of production. It follows that whatever does not have the nature of presently being produced is also not in the process of production, because that which is not presently being produced is contrary to that which is. Assertion, that which is in the process of production exists, since it is located between the past and future. These two times may be posited in relation to what is presently being produced.
Answer. In any opponent system in which there is definitely an intermediate stage without which the past and future cannot exist, that which is presently being produced could not exist by way of its own entity, since there would be infinite regress, in that anything in the process of production would require another intermediate stage and that one yet another and so on. Question. If the half-produced is not in the process of production, what is? Assertion. Since the process of production is, for example, the sprouts being produced through cessation of the seed, something in a state where its production has begun is said to be in the process of production. Thus what is presently being produced appears to be a different entity from that which is half produced and half unproduced.
Answer. If one could point to anything and say, this thing has been produced from this thing which is in the process of production, one could identify something in the process of production existent by way of its own entity in relation to the thing produced from it. However, when a thing has been produced, there cannot be anything in the process of production which exists by way of its own entity, for what was in the process of production has ceased. A produced thing which has arisen from such a process of production and which would permit its inference does not exist. Assertion. The produced is in the process of production. Answer. If the produced is in the process of production, why is it being produced again? This is unfeasible because it has already been produced. Assertion. A thing which is presently being produced is said to be produced, for although unproduced, it is approaching production.
Answer. If a thing that is in the process of being produced is said to be produced because, even though it is entirely unproduced, it is approaching production, why should a pot while performing its function not be considered a non-functional thing? It follows that this is a reasonable assertion, since there is no difference between the produced and the unproduced. Assertion. There is a difference between that which is in the process of being produced and the unproduced. That which is in the process of production is said to be associated with the activity of production, whereas the unproduced is not necessarily associated with the activity of production.
Answer. Since a thing in the process of being produced is associated with the activity of production, you assert that even though it has not completed that activity, it is other than unproduced and future. Yet in that case, since a thing in the process of being produced is other than something produced, you are saying that the unproduced is being produced. Since that which is presently being produced is other than something produced, you must accept that it is unproduced. You might claim that anything in the process of being produced exists as a thing, because, even though it did not exist previously, it has afterwards become associated with the activity of production. If on this account you say that an entirely unproduced thing associated with the activity of production is being produced, that too is incorrect. An unproduced thing, referred to as non-existent, has not attained its entity. It does not undergo production, because it is not engaged in that activity.
That which has completed the activity of production is said to exist as a thing, and that which has not performed the activity of production is said not to exist as a thing. If neither that which has nor that which has not completed the activity of production is in the process of being produced, what is being referred to as presently being produced? Anything in the process of being produced does not have the least existence by way of its own entity. Investigation by reasoning shows that there is no effect without a cause. Since cause and effect, then, do not truly exist, and since the bases therefore do not truly exist, The sprouts starting to be produced and the seeds stopping to exist are not feasible by way of their own entity. Sutra says, for instance, the men and women conjured by an illusionist cause the spectators of the magic, who think of them as men and women, to feel attraction and aversion. Though they also appear to the magician, he does not think of them in this way. They do not even appear to those who are unaffected by the spell. You must understand that these analogies apply respectively to the perception of common beings who have not understood dependent arising's emptiness of inherent existence, to the wisdom of subsequent attainment of the Exalted, and to the meditative equipoise of the Exalted. You should learn how conventional phenomena are established by conventional valid cognition and ultimate truth by conceptual and non-conceptual reasoning consciousness from the presentation in Gateway for Conqueror Children, explanation of Santidevas, engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds, and so forth.
The summarizing stanza. This is the 15th chapter from the 400 on the yogic deeds, showing how to meditate on the refutation of that which constitutes products. This concludes the commentary on the 15th chapter, showing how to meditate on refuting the inherent existence of that which constitutes products, from Essence of Good Explanations, explanation of the 400 on the yogic deeds of Bodhisattvas.